Okay, interesting, huh? Mobility is not a good case. I believe it's the best case at the moment. It's a business case today with the existing boundary conditions, which are unique in the world and absolutely beneficial to bring hydrogen trucks in a business case to the market, first of all. We show this in the first part of my presentation. So, good job from Jorgo, right? So we have two tools implemented in Europe which are unique. This is the greenhouse gas quota that helps to bring hydrogen to the filling stations to a competitive cost. You will see it. And then, of course, there is the toll exemption for hydrogen trucks on the Autobahn, which is very costly, right? In Germany, every year, 30,000 euros you can save on toll, on Autobahn toll, highway toll, right? So these two elements with the right market approach and the right technology make a business case, offtake business case. This is what we are all looking for today. And I show in the first part of the presentation how this works. And the second part is, when can we become cost competitive with hydrogen to fossil fuels? Because at a certain time, greenhouse gas quota and the toll will disappear, and then of course full utilization helps of the equipment, but we also need a breakthrough in hydrogen storage. We need an innovation in hydrogen storage that is able also to simplify distribution network, and that is the second part. So first, the business case today, and the second part, what will be the future. Oh, it's boring, right? Chicken and egg is an old story, but in the end of the day, not so many people really understand that problem. So that means that if I bring a new product, if I'm a truck manufacturer, and if I bring a new product to the market, I have to industrialize it, meaning I have to integrate the new product into my production. This costs a lot of money. I'm talking here billions of, even if I bring a new diesel truck to the market, costs billions, with the difference that my investors back it up because I can immediately sell 100,000 of trucks or 10,000 of trucks a year into the market, and so I get my return of investment. So now I want to bring a hydrogen truck to the market, right? I have the same cost, even a little bit more. And my market, due to a limited infrastructure, is not taking 10,000 of trucks. So who is backing my investment up? Nobody. This is the situation we are at the moment. It's a lock-up, right? So the OEM cannot move, right? And of course, the infrastructure itself is not sufficient, but we cannot utilize the infrastructure. So this is the story here. Okay, good learning, right? Because I understand that to improve my production infrastructure, to industrialize a new product, this costs the hell of money. So if I want to bring a truck to the market that has the lowest at cost, I have to stay very close to the diesel truck. I want to use the existing production infrastructure, which is optimized to the last detail, because we are training this since decades, right? So if I stay very close to the combustion engine, if I stay very close to the diesel truck, then I have the chance to bring hydrogen trucks with the lowest extra cost to the market, right? Of course, infrastructure, we have to live, first of all, with what we have, right? So we heard about compressors, very important. At the moment, I think the dominating filling station infrastructure is 350 bar. It's a very robust technology with limited efficiency, is also clear, but this is what we have here, and it works if we are able to utilize the equipment, the filling stations, and the distribution equipment to a big extent. And then I can build, of course, a business case. If I synchronize supply and demand, means I need to have a smart market approach, not going everywhere, but going there where the hydrogen is being produced, in the regions where I have filling stations, where I have logistic demand, and bring everything together. So how does it look like? This is, we call it internally, the transformer, right? Because it is the integration of the KEYOU Insight system. It's a conversion technology that with low modification effort turns a diesel engine to a high-performance hydrogen combustion engine. So I reuse the diesel engine, I reuse the transmission, I use the chassis, so I can produce 85% of that truck on the most efficient production infrastructure on the OEM plant, right? And the rest of the modification, since the modification effort is manageable and low, I can use existing truck builder, Aufbauer, retrofitter, engine retrofitter, existing infrastructure to do the job, right? So all my production infrastructure is in place. I can scale up fast and have the lowest extra cost. The truck costs 250,000 euro. This is important number. Why? Because this is exactly the saving on toll this truck over lifetime in 8 years saves for the operator. In the end, you can say the truck is for free, right? And then, of course, you see we still have 650 kilometer driving range with the 350 bar system. It's quite acceptable, so I think we find a good number of customers who likes this truck. And then, of course, it's as I said before, a smart market approach. Go there where the molecules are being produced. Bring there most of the vehicles where you have the highest density of filling stations. Of course, where you have logistic hubs, logistic routes, bring everything together, ensure high utilization. And then you see that with the regulatory funding instruments, the greenhouse gas quota, and the toll exemption, you are there where we all want, right? These are the two tools. Best boundary conditions ever. I'm doing this since 25 years. This is the time now to get the trucks and the infrastructure built up. And you see total cost of ownership, left the diesel truck, right the transformer, the hydrogen combustion engine propelled truck. You see, of course, that still the purchase price is higher, 250,000 compared to roughly 150,000. And then you have fuel costs. We see hydrogen fuel 750, between 750 and 750 euro per kilogram. Is that what we need at the pump to be competitive, as you can see it? And then, of course, we see the green block, which is the toll. Toll exemption plays a major role for the business case. And then you are there, you are competitive, right? And that makes the big difference here, right? Today. So, on top, this is also nice, comes public funding. So there is now public funding coming. Bavaria, of course, the Netherlands and Germany. So this is good for more than 2,500 trucks. So funding between 80,000 and 100,000 minus the 250,000. You're selling the truck for 150,000. This is competitive to diesel already. And then you have the toll exemption of 250,000. So mobility is the first business case for an off-taker, in my opinion, right, to bring the infrastructure up. So I'm in a different opinion here than my speaker before. Okay, so we ramp up the numbers. So still, I think, pretty conservative numbers. The goal, the business plan we are developing at the moment says cumulative 5,000 trucks until 2031, which is equivalent to an amount of 50,000 tons of hydrogen every year, right? So this is also a volume that helps to expand the existing infrastructure, right? And to utilize the existing infrastructure. So you get cost, of course, a little bit down, right? And of course, the vehicle also gets more cost efficient. So this creates already market conditions that also other technologies like fuel cell trucks can come into the markets, right? That are more efficient, more sophisticated technology. Of course, you can grow on with these market conditions, but at a certain time, greenhouse gas quota and also the toll exemption will disappear, yeah? And then, at a certain time, we have to become, with hydrogen, competitive to fossil fuels. Is this possible? Yes, of course. We know that this is possible. Hydrogen will become the most common and cost-efficient energy carrier. There is a study, it's already 4 years old, from the Ministry of Economy in Germany that tells us if you produce hydrogen in best regions of wind and sun power in North Africa, the main countries in the Scandinavic, bringing it a pipeline, we have the pipeline and compressors here, to Germany, to Central Europe, it costs 5 cents per kilowatt hour, right? This is the energy cost we need here. But before this pipeline will be built, we need a local and regional hydrogen market that, in the end, justifies that investment. But then for sure it will come. Okay, so now we don't have that. What can help us? Innovation. Innovation. So, and that brings us to the second chapter. So the core innovation we need to get there where we want is storage, energy storage, hydrogen storage is the key innovation, because if we look to the distribution chain, so left we have production, the red block is how we are distributing hydrogen today. After 150 years dealing with oil-based fuels, we are totally conditioned, because we are distributing hydrogen exactly like we distribute oil-based fuels. But this is, of course, extremely inefficient, right? So I have the production, I have a tank there comes a trailer, there's another tank. I need to transfer, right? So the trailer goes to a filling station, another tank, another transfer. Then comes the truck, another tank, another transfer. So oil-based fuels with this high volumetric energy density, so the capex ratio to that what goes through energy, it doesn't matter. But hydrogen, this kills the case. It's not the production, it's really the distribution of hydrogen, which at the moment is 70 to 80% of the total cost of hydrogen at the pump. So, as you can see it here, we could reduce this to one single tank and one transfer if we would have the right tank system. A hydrogen battery, which you can see outside a little booth there, is a first product prototype of a genset. But with the right tank system, right, which can be swapped because it's lightweight, it's cost efficient, and it's extremely safe, right? With a swappable tank, we can reduce all that and can, in the end of the day, reduce 70% of the capex today, which allows us to, in Germany, produce hydrogen to be competitive at the filling station. Competitive to fossil fuels, of course. On top, the tank system makes the machines more expensive. The energy system is one of the main cost drivers for the machines, and in our case now, in this example, for the trucks, right? So if my swap tank is part of the distribution network, I immediately eliminate the highest cost position of my vehicle, the tank system. I get it out of it, so I'm immediately on diesel competitive vehicles. You see, the tank system, the energy storage is key here, right? And here we need innovation. Okay, this is the innovation. We even brought a little bit of hardware, a prototype, product prototype, not for the trucks, but for a genset. First market approach. So how can we solve this triangle of design conflict, which is typical for energy systems, between performance, safety, and cost? How can I solve this problem? We solve this problem with a little MEMS chip. In the end, it's a MEMS chip because there is no electric and electronic necessary to control this microwave chip that is built in 4 silicon layers, right? In a chip of 4 silicon layers, microstructure forming little components, including a 5-stage pressure regulator that control the flow of small carbon fiber spherical high-pressure tanks, which we are designing up to 1,000 bar, but of course, lower pressures are earlier in the market, right? So what I'm doing is I break a big cylinder that probably you know, a big carbon fiber high-pressure tank in multiple small pieces, right? 10 centimeter diameter, carbon fiber, perfect shape for storing gases. And I give a kind of a swarm intelligent in all these little units, right, through this chip, right? And with that, of course, I immediately have increased safety. Why? Because if a big tank is a problem, I have a big problem. A lot of energy is getting released, so the safety factor is extremely high. If my small tank has a problem, my system is not really suffering here, right? So I have a much lower safety factor, a higher acceptable failure rate. On top, I multiplied redundancies and safety measures, right? So combining all that, I can have a tank that is the safest energy storage that have ever been built, right? But with less than 50% of the material of a standard cylinder, right? So I have low weight, I have low cost, and I have high safety, which in the end is that what I need to have a swap tank that can simplify the distribution infrastructure. So pretty short here. Safety, make hydrogen a real commodity, right? That brings the cost down. Then, of course, energy density. So we have energy density that can already compete in many applications to liquid hydrogen tanks. 8 times lower cost than today's 700 bar systems. And of course, we can build it since, let's say, I have always a low pressure system. That's why I can adapt my geometry like I want, right? So I have high pressure in my little tanks, but I have low pressure in my supply system, right? So that's why I can get out of this shape of cylindrical forms, right? And I can, let's say, scale it up. Small batteries, as you see it outside, or 45 feet container that holds almost 3 tons of hydrogen, right? They're very flexible. And the most important, in order to, let's say, get hydrogen competitive to fossil fuels, be able to simplify the distribution infrastructure. So this is, of course, after the first phase, which we are focusing, bringing 40-ton trucks with 350 bar tanks until 2031 to the market, that we see it are a business case today. This is what we see in the second phase, right? Having a truck with swappable tanks left and right, which already allows a driving range of up to 1,000 kilometers, where you go to swap stations instead of filling stations today hold compressors, pre-cooling, high-pressure equipment, tank, all out, right? And you just have a swap system, and you can swap the tank in 5 minutes. I see that he helps me to keep the time. Okay, so this is the infrastructure. This is the cost today. A lot of tanks, a lot of CapEx, a lot of OpEx. We simplified one tank, one transfer, significant reduction, and we come here to the conclusion. So we should be proud a little bit here in Europe because the boundary conditions we have set up are allowing first business cases in hydrogen trucks. Second, these trucks, hydrogen combustion engine propelled trucks, can be competitive to diesel today with these framework conditions. The infrastructure we have set up is a good starting point, but it's inefficient. With hydrogen batteries, we can bring not just diesel trucks competitive, hydrogen trucks competitive to diesel, but also the filling station. The molecules can be competitive to diesel at the same time. Okay, and I think with that, I stop here, huh?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Thomas. So let's go for one very quick question here. So, and there is someone who stated what needs to happen for the ramp up of the hydrogen economy to finally be successful, to succeed. At the moment, it's hard to shake the feeling that everything has stalled a little.
Yes,
yes,
yes, yes. So I mean, this was the topic of the presentation. Yeah, we need cost-efficient trucks. I think we need to use the existing production infrastructure for that. So, for me, the hydrogen combustion engine is a chance to really do this transformation, which we are not using here in Germany or in Europe at all. We should go for that. And then, of course, with the boundary conditions we have, we are already good to really ramp up. And then, of course, innovation will do the rest. That comes automatically, comes fuel cell trucks, comes storage innovations. So that is the beginning is the most important. And the beginning, we can do it today.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Thomas. We have to look at the time.
Yes, very good.
Yes, so, and, but please tell us, outside, we can actually talk to you and can address all the remaining questions to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas Korn, the CEO and the co-founder of KEYOU GmbH and also Waterstuff and Sun GmbH.